special guest from London, Parth from thisThatNew.com. So let them know what you do, Parth.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on the show, first of all. Yeah, I run a website called DEHH. It's a music, film and fashion website based here in the UK. And it's just focusing quality on the music and fashion side of things, as well as basing it on the mainstream as well. So that's pretty much what I do part-time, and I'm trying to just get myself into some internship, which I'm working on right now, and that's based on music as well. So that's pretty much what I do, man, just music and fashion right now.
That's what's up, that's what's up, that's what's up. So what are your thoughts on Danny Brown's album, Oh?
XXX was something that took me quite a while to get used to. It took me like the 5th listen to like really get with. And then I understood like what kind of style Danny's doing now, and obviously this is the same in this new project as well. Side A is good. I really mess with Side A, but Side B it's something that you can only enjoy in like live shows. I don't think I can really enjoy the whole of Side B straight away. I found that when I was listening to it, the second half of it, it just got too much electro, too much of the dubstep type of music, and I just thought, I'm not really feeling this album, man. But it took me like the 3rd or 4th listen to really like actually understand this album. I actually like it now. I think it's a pretty good album.
You know, I feel you on that. But for me, it hasn't grown on me yet. Like I get it. I think I get where Danny Brown is coming from with the two sides. Like I kind of hear side A being more like the old style Danny Brown. But my first introduction to Danny Brown was XXX. So I didn't go back and go even further. But there was a couple songs on here that sounded like this was like how Danny Brown would have sounded way back, like when he first started. So I have to give him a lot of credit for that, because a lot of artists are always progressive, they're always changing, and it's hard for them to go back. Like Jay-Z says all the time, like, you want my old shit, buy my old album, you know. But for Danny Brown to actually be able to go back and tap into that level, you know, where he started in that sound, that I don't think that that's easy. I don't know if I've ever heard an artist go back that way. But overall, I think it was good. I think it's one of these albums that I'm gonna have to sit with for a little bit longer for it to like really soak, because I've listened to it about 5-6 times and it just, I don't love it. I don't love it. I think it's a good project. I don't love it, and I don't know if I should love it. Side B goes to that, you know, more of that trap, that new Danny Brown sound where he's energetic and live and, you know, fucking blowing coke and doing all that crazy shit he does. You know, but overall, I thought it was a solid project. I definitely have to give a shout out to Freddie Gibbs on his verse. So yeah, it's cool, but I don't know. I just don't love it yet.
You know, I felt the same when I first listened to it. I actually hated the album, because even though he said he's bringing the old Danny Brown back, the alternative production in the first half isn't exactly the same type of style he used to. Like content-wise, yeah, it's the same as you would find on the hybrids, but production-wise, it was a bit more alternative. It took me a little while. It depends how you listen to it. Like side A is perfect headphone music, side B is what you need to hear Danny at like a show.
I think Danny Brown did a good job of telling, I guess, kind of like a story in a side A, side B way, where side A is like, okay, this is where I'm from, this is the guy, this is the MC that I would start off being. This is where I was made to be. I'm from Detroit. This is where I grew up. This is my hardship. This is my personal side. This is my struggling with drug side. And then I think with side B, it was kind of like, okay, this is where I've arrived to now with, you know, where I'm at with side B. Of course, it's a little bit more turned up Danny Brown, because Danny Brown, I mean, he seems like a silly, fun, turned up type of dude. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen him like in interviews and everything. I was kind of like Parth for a second. Like the second half, I was like, damn. Like the sound wise, I was like, but I thought some production was kind of dope though on there. Like I thought handstand, I thought that shit was dope. Like a handstand was dope.
I like it.
I like dubstep. Dubstep was dope.
Dubstep was crazy.
Yeah, dubstep was crazy. How he was able, and then I think Danny Brown was taking a good risk with this as far as his flow wise, going over this type of production, and I thought he did a good job doing it. It wasn't like he was just like not good rapping over that type of production. I thought it was good, and like I said, for me it was kind of like a story. Like Cleanup, I thought Cleanup was just like, that was probably one of his most, I think besides 30, that was one of his most kind of like personal introspective tracks that he made. You know, him talking, my daughter texted me, and I don't know how I want to respond. I want her to see me like this. I don't want to respond like this. Like, he was really opening up on side A. So that, I think that was the thing I really liked about side A, was that how much he opened up. If you take, and I like the Schoolboy Q joint too.
Yes.
If you take that Schoolboy, I think the Schoolboy Q joint should have been on side B.
I agree.
And Float On, which is another one, was my favorite track. That should have been side A, because that one was dark. It was very introspective, how he was trying to talk about the pressures of making another good album after coming from Triple X. You know what I'm saying? Because after making Triple X, people were setting the bar high for him for this next, for this old album. So I think it was cool for him to kind of touch on the writing process, the recording process, what he was thinking, making this album. Like, yo, if I'm gonna make another hit, I'm still thinking about these rhymes, but I still want to hit this weed or take this dose of drugs or whatever, and to try to ease my mind off, because like this pressures of making another good album is weighing down on him. So that's why I thought Float On was one of my favorite tracks. And hearing these party turned up tracks, and then you finish it with Float On, I'm thinking like, well, damn, Float On should have been on side A, and the Schoolboy Q joint should have been on side B. But overall, I liked it, man. Like, I think, like I said, I was with you. My first listen, I was like, I don't really know how I'm feeling about this side B. But of course, the more listens, the more I kind of understood where I think Danny Brown was going, what he was trying to accomplish, and what I got from him telling the story from this is the Danny Brown from Detroit, how I came up in the street life or whatever, and then this is the Danny Brown now. Post Triple X. The way he tried to present this, I think he told the story well. That's what I got from it. I'm like, okay, this is the Danny Brown. That's why he gave you the old Danny Brown, the Detroit State of Mind, the hot suit Danny Brown. He gave you that first. Like, look, this is my transition. This is what brought me to where I'm at. Bam, post Triple X, and this is what side B. This is the Danny Brown you're getting. That's why I think on Dope Song, the first song on side B was like, yeah, they wanted me to do a song about, this is my last song about dope. I forgot how he quoted it. Like, it was kind of like I'm saying goodbye to that old Danny Brown, but this is the new Danny Brown, I guess you want to say. So I thought it was cool how he told the story. I'm glad he sequenced it the way. My only thing I say, he could have put the Schoolboy Q track on side B and Float on side A.
Yeah, when I first heard this album, I couldn't wait for the review, because I really wanted to know what you thought about this album especially when side B, came on. And I was like, ooh, I don't know how B would feel about this. You
thought about me?
Yeah, because you're such a Danny Brown fan, and Danny, what I'm saying? So when he did this EDM type trap thing, which seems like it's not that much of a stretch from his old stuff, but it is him venturing into something relatively new. But he's slowly been kind of, progressing towards this. So yeah, that's what I thought about, and so I don't know exactly how you would feel about the album itself. So what I like about this album is I like that, of course, everybody knows he broke it into two sides, and why he broke it into two sides. And to me, it's almost in the sense that he's like feeding the streets, right? So he's gonna give his fans that like that old shit, here's that old shit, it's grouped here together. And for everybody that's coming on to me that like this new EDM trap shit, that's really hot, here's this new shit, and this is, like you said, B, this is where I'm going. This is my transition. So when I heard Float On, while it seemed like it didn't fit, to me, Float On was almost like closure. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to actually close the book on that chapter, because the songs that he have on here, the more personal, introspective songs, I think that life that Danny Brown went through is well documented on all of the mixtapes he had. Detroit State of Mind, the 1, 2, 3, 4, Hot Soup, all that stuff. So I think he doesn't really, it's such a painful lifestyle for him to revisit that to write these songs, man. He wants to move on with his life, because now he's at a point where he doesn't have to write and do that stuff. And with side B, it's clearly an indication that he doesn't have to.
It started with dope songs.
Yeah, I'm a dope ass motherfucker that can write dope ass songs that are different and outside of this shit that, that kind of put me on the map. You know what I'm saying? So I like what he did. It kind of reminded me of, and Fifi, you may not remember this, but you two may. But remember when you used to have those R&B tapes back in the day, and they had the two sides, they had the slow and the fast side, and people like will only listen to the slow side because that was the best side to them, and they would skip the fast songs.
R. Kelly did.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, right? That's kind of what he's done. It's like you have a choice, and it's a lot easier now because you got fucking MP3s. But it kind of took me back to that moment. So it was like old, side A, side B is some old ass shit. So you know that's what it is. So that's kind of what I take from the album. I like what he's doing. I think he's really good doing the EDM trap stuff. And I think it works for him, man. So I'm really curious to see, you know, it really fits him. Like you say, he's a sorry, Mike, but he's a turned up kind of guy, man. He gets on the stage and he wows the fuck out and he has fun, and you know, you can rock out to this. So yeah, I like what he did. I like what he did with it, man.
I think this was a really good follow-up to Triple X, mainly because he didn't repeat himself. You know, he gave you what you want, but he did not give you at all what you expected. Like, I didn't expect him to give me this at all. I think this is probably one of his most well-rounded records. I'm not gonna say I like it more than Triple X, but I think that in terms of the songwriting and the way he crafted the album, I think this is just more well-rounded. Like, he's still telling you hood stories, but he's doing them over a backdrop that no hood rapper would touch. Like, what hood rapper is gonna rock over Lonely besides Danny Brown? What hood rapper is gonna rock over Clean Up?
Yeah.
None. Or
And be so introspective about it too at the same time.
Right.
Like, yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know any other hood rapper that can really pull this off.
Yeah.
And I like how Danny Brown kind of, I don't want to say he put himself in this box, but somehow he got put into this box of more of like a hipster, silly rapper. But I like how he's like, look, hold on a second, like time out. Don't get it fucked up. I'm a hood ass
Linwood.
nigga.
Like,
you know
I'm
what
from fucking Linwood.
Wasn't that the line? He's, something like that. Fucking hipster, squeeze a trigger.
Yeah.
Don't get it fucked up. I'm a hood ass nigga.
Yeah.
I like that he's like, look, yeah, I can have fun. I'm this silly dude, but at the same time, you know, you think I'm a fuck nigga, but if you see me, I'm gonna have to duck, nigga.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a great album, man. I thought Danny Brown put together a dope record. As far as the second half of the album, nah, it's not something I would listen to. But he said himself that the only reason he did that is because those are the type of tracks he performs at festivals. Mm-hmm. Like the side A, that's not gonna get those festival crowds jumping up and down. But Dip, that's gonna get motherfuckers going crazy. Dip is dope, man.
You know, and that's why he did it. It's more than obvious. You know,
well, that was the only song that
that production was crazy.
I want nothing to. I didn't like that song one single
That beat was fucking crazy.
No, I didn't like the beat.
You didn't?
I didn't know.
Wow,
I didn't like the
that beat.
hook. I didn't like the content. Danny Brown, of course, is still a good rapper on it, but as far as the track, no. My tracks were The Return because it was just dope. 25 $25.
$25, yeah.
That was a great track because of the backdrop that he rhymed over. Torture, just because the way he was so vivid with his imagery.
Yeah. Same thing with Clean Up though.
And I was gonna say, and Clean Up too. Thank you.
Clean Up.
And Clean Up too. Like, those were my favorite tracks off this album. But I can't say that there's a bad track. You know, Handstand just wasn't my thing. Like,
I like the beat. I think I like the beat. I think it was the production that caught me in more than anything. Yeah. I was like, damn, this shit crazy.
That kind of shit just doesn't interest me. Like,
yeah.
Put your hands on the ground, pop your pussy. I can't get down with shit like that.
I can't. But like you said, that's for the performance. You know, chicks gonna go crazy over this shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I want to say, dude, I think B hit the nail on the head because that's exactly what I was thinking. That this album is like, look, this is where I was, this is me moving, and now this is where I'm at now. Like, I started off in this dark dungeon of a place because a lot of people that heard Triple X, they didn't go back. They didn't go back and listen to any of his old mixtapes.
Listen to Detroit State of Mind, man.
Right.
Listen to Detroit State of Mind.
You know, and that's why, like, on side A, I was like, okay, I never went beyond Triple X, but I could hear, like, this is how he was rapping before Triple X. And it is, and he even adds a snippet from one of my favorite old tracks where I rep that shit right now.
New era. So, new era from Hybrid.
Yeah, right, from Hybrid. So, and that's where I got turned on to Danny Brown, was from Hybrid. So I like that he's like, yeah, this is how I was, this is my story, and this is me now. I'm happier, I've been through this shit, I don't need this shit no more. But at the same time, I may have to step out and remind y'all, don't fucking try me. Because as silly and as goofy as Danny Brown is, I wouldn't test his gangster.
look,
Not one bit. I wouldn't try him. I wouldn't try him.
Let me tell
Yeah, this is an album that I wasn't impressed with at the beginning, because I think I let Side B kind of get in the way of everything. But you know, after a couple of listens and you know, listening to it properly, this is a solid album. I actually enjoyed it for what both sides are. I think both halves actually complement each other really well. I think he told a great story. And I'm definitely looking forward to what he's gonna do next with his new project. So I'm a fan.
You know, I think Danny Brown, you know, kind of brought some nostalgia back, obviously with the name Old, the side A, side B type of thing. You know, it's very hip hop. You know, niggas don't rock tapes like that no more, but I guess this is the closest you can get, you know, in the digital age to having a tape with two sides on it. Like Parth said, I didn't like it at first listen. I still don't love it. I feel like I should love it, but I think it is a good project. I think it's a great project, but it's just not, it didn't hit me like Triple X did. And it's just not sinking in just yet. But I think it's dope as hell how somebody can just go back to how they used to be and just rap like that and give you that. I think that's really dope. And Danny Brown is more than just a drug rapper. You know what I'm saying? He gives you glimpses of everything. You know, he gives you glimpses of his life. You know, and I always love artists like that. You know, I like introspective artists. And y'all already know it bumps in the whip. It definitely bumps in the whip. The production on this thing was amazing.
Great way to tell your story, Danny Brown. I love the two-sided structure project that you put together. Like I said, I think my only nitpick thing is, like I said, take the Schoolboy track from side A and put it on B and float from side B and put it on side A. But I thought overall, whatever you plan on executing with this, from telling the story that I thought you told, you did a great job of doing it. I'm glad you talked about stuff on side A that I'm familiar with, that you talked about from Detroit, and then, you know, I'm glad you showed me where you going and progressing as an artist. So keep it up, and I ain't gonna say I'm looking forward to it. I just started listening to this old, so I want to still sit with this, and I still want to listen to it more. So shout out to Danny Brown.
Well, if you guys are fans of Danny Brown, you should definitely go out and buy this album and support this dude, man. He's giving you tons and tons of, you know, free projects, and he gave you Triple X. You know, on top of that, you guys should go even get some of his older shit and explore like where he's been throughout this journey in his career. I'm really looking forward to the future of Danny Brown, and what I liked about this album is that he created and opened up a future for himself, because right now he can make this hood shit or he can go and do this EDM trap shit. So he's at the point in his career where he can create whatever type of music he wants to create. And he's showing you that he is truly an artist, and that, you know, like Mike said, he can rap over multiple types of production and still be fucking dope. And there's not a lot of artists that's A, willing to take that risk, and B, able to pull it off. So salute to Danny Brown for putting out what I think is a really good project. So everybody should go buy this album.
I think this is definitely one of the better projects to come out this year. I think that what's really interesting is you get not only a slightly more serious Danny Brown, you get a more versatile Danny Brown, which he's a lot more versatile on this album than he was on Triple X, and I think that's a testament to just how good of an MC that he is. He can literally, at this point, I feel like he could rock over anything. I think any beat, period, that you gave him, he would rock it. And not many MCs can do that, with the exception of a few that I can think of off the top of my head. Overall, I think this album's great. Even though I don't listen to the second half, it's not because those tracks are bad, it's because it's not really my type of music. But when like I said, I've seen him twice, and when he performs those type of tracks, those are the tracks that gets the crowd hyped. So it totally makes sense, I totally understand it, and when I'm seeing him live, those are the tracks that are getting me like this. Yeah. On record, I'm just like, this isn't really my thing. Live, it's a totally different story. Totally different story. So yeah. So salute to Danny Brown for putting out a fucking dope album. Salute to Danny Brown for not folding into the pressure of repeating himself with Triple X. Yep. This is not Triple X 2. This is a completely different album, and people need to understand that before they pick it up. If you love Triple X, there's a good chance you'll love this, but there's also a good chance you might not. But just understand this is an artist, and an artist is not gonna give you the same thing every time. You know, his mind changes, his attitude changes. So yeah, like B said, this is a great story of telling Danny Brown's beginning, middle, and end. Not end, but future. So yeah, dope album. Everyone needs to go pick it up. And yeah, Danny Brown fucking Brown.